Also bad are reports from the WHO about untreatable cases of what they're calling superbug gonorrhea, saying that we need new medications to treat the bacterial infection. A study was published in the journal PLOS Medicine, which highlights the increased drug-resistant gonorrhea, and it is being called a serious situation, so serious that now the standard course of treatment, as per the direction of the WHO to doctors, is that patients should be given 2 antibiotics for the STD because of the resistance that's emerging. And this could have a major effect on world population. I mean, it's sort of Malthusian in some sense, but 78 million people per year are affected with gonorrhea. Women usually never show symptoms. 40% of men never show symptoms. If you don't treat it, because why would you if you have no symptoms, men and women can become infertile as well as be at extra risk of HIV. From 2009 to 2014, 97% of countries that reported gonorrhea data say that they found drug-resistant strains. 2/3 of countries are reporting resistance to what's called the last resort treatment. When standard medications don't work for many conditions, you have what are called last resort treatments. For gonorrhea, it is the oral antibiotic cefixime and the injectable ceftriaxone. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correct. Ceftriaxone. And that is a major, major problem. And these are, there are strains of this that are not being cured even with the last line, last resort medication. And those have been reported in France, Japan, and Spain. What's contributing to drug resistance? It's a few different things. Decreased condom use, more urbanization. In other words, more people living closer together. More travel, which allows for people spreading the disease a greater distance, as well as lower detection rates and improper or failed treatment. And what is also concerning is that there are still people, according to the data that we have, that are not taking the full course of antibiotics. And it is so prevalent, Pat, that people think, fine, I got 14 days of antibiotics. If I feel better after 6 days, I'll not take the rest. It's common that if the antibiotic works, that you feel better after 6 days. You're given 14 days for a reason, and not taking the full dose can actually allow the bacteria to become resistant.
Well, I think there's also just people out there who are against antibiotics, against contraception, and just push for abstinence-only education because, of course, if you just tell people not to have sex, they won't do it, and the diseases won't spread.
Yeah, and of course, as we know, the reality is that when you do that type of sex education, people are just engaging in riskier versions of the same behavior that they might otherwise be engaging in, and it is a really, really bad idea and also completely counterproductive. Take all the pills, number one, and number two, you've got to, the entire abstinence-only thing, it's failed on every level at this point, hasn't it? I mean, there's no level on which it's been successful. It doesn't reduce pregnancy. It doesn't reduce transmission of STDs. It doesn't reduce abortions because when people get pregnant, pregnancy is the number one common thread among people who obtain abortions. And if you have more pregnancies, by definition, you're going to have more people seeking abortions.
It's like trying to solve obesity by telling people not to eat.
I like that.
No explanation necessary.
I've never heard that one before, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm thrilled to tell you that today's episode of the show is made possible in part by Tagadab, the hosting specialists, offering dedicated virtual private and cloud server solutions, as well as custom server solutions for whatever business or project you have. Tagadab's web hosting services support a very wide range of customers and businesses that includes bloggers, tech startups, financial traders, gamers, web developers. It's a very, very long list. They've got a user-friendly interface. They have absolutely fantastic technical support. Over 70% of their business comes from repeat orders and recommendations from existing customers. You can get a 20 British pound discount off of a cloud server account with Tagadab. But you've got to know how to access that. And the way you access it is by going to signup.tagadab.com/TDPS and using the coupon code TDPS20. This is a great way to get great hosting for your project, business, or service and support the David Pakman Show and support our advertisers. That's signup.tagadab.com TAGADAB. That's TAGADAB. And then the discount code is TDPS20.